Hi, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I want to do a little show tonight about internet dating. One of my wonderful subscribers to the channel, Christine, sent me this video from Investigation Discovery, and it was called The Dark Side of Internet Dating. And I watched it, and I thought it was really fascinating for two reasons. One, it showed how things can go terribly wrong, and the other problem is that I found it interesting that they didn't talk about why things went wrong. So this is what I want to bring to you tonight, why things could go wrong. And before I start all this, I'm just going to say this because every time I talk about women who end up being victims, I end up with oh, you're blaming the victim. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is there are things you can do that keep you from being a victim. And I'm trying to save women from being victimized. So I have to tell you the reality of it. So let's go to this story. It's really interesting. So this woman over here is named Acacia, and her last name I can't pronounce. And this guy over here is Wilson Jackson. This is the dude she was hooking up with. Now, let me just tell you the basics of the story. I have a link below to Investigation Discovery, so you can watch it. It's only 10 minutes, but you can watch what she says as opposed to what I say. So I think that's important. But basically, here's what happened. So Acacia, who's obviously a really attractive woman, decided after she was having a bad holiday, I don't know what went wrong, she went online. Now, I believe it was through Facebook that she met this guy, because it's not only like Match.com, it could be Tinder, it could be Twitter, it could be any place that has any kind of social media. So she goes online and with Facebook, and she said she met this guy, and he had some friends in common. Well, I have almost 5,000 friends on my Facebook page, my basic one, and I have another Facebook page with about that much more. I'm going to tell you, a lot of those people, will have 13 people connected to them that are connected to me. It doesn't mean I know them. It doesn't mean they know them. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, she goes on Facebook, apparently, and this guy shows up, and they start a chat. And for 3 weeks, they talk, and she really likes him. She's getting along well with him. He's interested in the same things as she is. Like she likes the gym, dudes in the gym, right? And she says he had a solar company, and I guess he was walking around with his camera. It looked like had a solar company, and she got very comfortable with him. And they started texting her. So she'd wake up in the morning, and he'd text her, "Hello, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful." And she liked him. So 3 weeks into this online relationship, she wakes up one morning. He says, "What are you doing?" And she says, "Not much." And he said, "Well, why don't you just fly out here? I'll send you a ticket." And so he did. He texted her tickets. She goes to the airport, and when she gets there, they say the ticket's no good. So she texts him back and said, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "What? I can't understand what's going wrong." And later he shows like a picture of him in front of his bank trying to straighten it out. And so he tells her, "Why don't you just buy the ticket, and I'll reimburse you when you get here." So she ponies up $300 to fly out to see this dude. She gets there. He picks her up from the airport, takes her to a movie, takes her to his apartment. She spends the night, so you know what's going on there. And while she's in the shower, he takes her purse and opens it up and starts photographing all her credit cards. And then he makes her breakfast because he's a nice guy. And then she flies home. And then she finds out that $3,000 has gone missing out of her accounts. And she's like, "What?" So she then, of course, is very upset. And she tries to find out about this guy. And at that point, I have to admit, she does some very fine investigative work. She actually contacts the police and other, she starts investigating him, and she finds other women that he's done this to, like over 10 other women. I mean, it's amazing what she came up with. And there were eventually 18 women, and they got this guy. So kudos to her for that. So you say to yourself, well, she did all this great investigation. She's not stupid. She did all this great investigation. Oh, she has 2 degrees. She has a psychology degree and a business degree. And she's traveled the world. I mean, this is the kind of woman I'm like, hey, we have a lot in common. Why would she fall for this guy online? What went wrong? And this is what I want to bring up today about this, because we think because we should be smart that we necessarily are always smart. So I'm going to point out how this goes wrong. Now, firstly, she says, which I thought was interesting. She says, well, in the beginning of the show, she goes, I don't understand how anyone could do these horrible things to people. And I'm thinking like, dude, you have a master's in psychology. Did they not teach you that in psychopathy class? I don't know. But the point being that in our hearts, we have trouble accepting that someone could do this to us. And so let's go back now. Let's see what went wrong and how you cannot make the same mistakes, okay? All right, so you're online. Here's the first clue. Everybody online is suspicious. Everybody. They're strangers. You do not know them. You do not work with them. They're not friends of friends. They're not, your family's best friend's son. You do not know who they are. They are strangers. Remember that, strangers. And because they're strangers, you have the right to question who they are and always be suspicious. Now, what a psychopath and a manipulative person will do is say, oh, are you always this suspicious? Just sit back and go, absolutely. Why wouldn't I be? This is social media. I do not know who you are. And if you say that and they vanish, you don't want to be with them anyway. If they're a decent human being, they'll go, I understand. No problem. All right. So now you're on social media and you run into somebody you think is pretty interesting. So you have some chit chats and you kind of like them. And what this guy did was say, why don't you come on out? All right. Here's the first thing you do. Dude, I'm coming out to see you. I don't know who you are. Here's what I want you to do. Show me your driver's license, because I want to be sure it matches your face. Because this woman wasn't catfished in a way where a 50-year-old guy pretended he was 20, or a guy, some guys will pretend they're females to try to catfish other dudes into sending them stuff and money. She wasn't catfished in that way. The guy he looks like this. This is really him. And actually his name is Wilson Jackson. So, it's kind of interesting that it says Will Jackson on his name, but his name is Wilson Jackson. He isn't even far off on that. But he's catfishing because he's not really looking for a real relationship. Oh, before I can go into that, for 3 weeks I had these conversations. Be aware. You know how these guys work? Let me tell you how these guys work. Okay. You think they're just talking to you. Oh my God, he likes me. He's talking to me. No, he isn't. He's got chat rooms open all over the place. He's talking to like 10 different women at the same time, because what he's looking for is not one particular woman. He's looking for one sucker. And so as soon as he finds a sucker, he hones in. If this woman over here says, hey, show me your ID, she's gone. If she says, I'm suspicious, she's gone. If she says, I'm not interested in visiting you in a short period of time, I want to get to know you, she's gone. So what he does, he says, all these open, and he keeps opening up new ones. Boom, 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 until he has the ones that are falling for his stuff. And then he keeps working on those. So while he's texting her, good morning, beautiful, he's texting another woman, good morning, beautiful, and another woman, good morning, beautiful, and another woman, good morning, beautiful. You think you're the only one? You're not. You're one of a dozen. So he keeps playing all of them at the same time. So be aware of that. You're not special. So now you've gotten to know this guy and you think he's real. You think he's really somebody. So ask him if you're going to go visit this dude, she was going to go visit this guy in another state. She had no idea what his real name was. And she had no idea where he lived. She left no message for anybody. And if I'm going to go visit some guy in another state, you know what I would do? I would be sure I know his name and his address, and that would go to my family saying, if anything happens, this is who I'm with. And you know what? I would tell him that too. I would say, okay, I want to see your license. I want to know what your name is, what your address is. I want to check you out. If you're stellar and you're good, I will come out and visit you, but I will leave with my family your name and address so that they know who I'm with. And if he's a serial killer or some kind of creepo or this kind of guy who's stealing money from women, they'll vanish. Oh, they'll vanish like you wouldn't believe. Whoosh, gone. So that's how you find out whether they're real or not. If they're not willing to be honest with you, if they're not willing to say, okay, I have no problem. You're coming to visit me. Of course, I know you want to be safe. Here's my name. Here's my address. I'll show you everything because I really want to meet you. If they don't want to do that, they're playing you and you're in danger. So, okay, so she did not check this dude out. She did not check out. She did not ask for his name, real name, address. She didn't have any proof as to who he was. Now you ask yourself, this woman seems like an intelligent woman. She's got 2 master's degrees, She's traveled the world. She should not be foolish. But what makes you foolish? I'll tell you. Loneliness, desperation, wishful thinking. She's talking to this guy and he says, oh, I like everything you like. Yeah, you know what? He's good at saying, I like everything you like. If she said she liked knitting, this dude would show up knitting. He knows how to play a woman and let her know that he is so similar to her. He has the same interest. Oh my God, it's going to be a great relationship. It's all phony, but he knows how to play. And he waits for her to say things. He goes, oh my God, me too. And then she's like, oh, I found the man of my dreams. I've been looking for somebody who understands me, who has the same interest with me, the same interest as I have. Oh my God, I got to go see this guy. And, so then it gets worse here. So anyway, so she's going to the airport and she finds out that the ticket is no good. Really? So he's like, I can't believe it. Well, if he can't believe it, you know what he can do? Venmo her some money. He says, use your own money and I'll pay you back. She should have said, hey, send me the money and I'll buy the ticket. That's not what he did. You can do that in 3 seconds flat. He could have sent her money. I do it all the time. I pay my hairdresser with money. Well, I don't go to one anymore because it's coronavirus season. I gave up. But I used to pay her just, okay, send you the money. And it's very easy. And she's young enough to know how to use these apps. And she didn't. He didn't send her any money. He just made up an excuse why the ticket was no good. So she spends her own money to go out to see him. That should have been a red flag right there. She could have said, look, this is weird, dude. I'm turning around. I'm going home. And, we'll work on it from there. But I'm not, this is just kind of strange to me. But she didn't. She got on the plane. Now she gets to the location. Now she lands and this guy picks her up, drives up, picks her up in his car. She's getting into the car of a man she does not know his name, who's already scammed her on the ticket. And she doesn't know where he lives at all. She gets in his car. That is so incredibly dangerous. This dude could have been a serial killer, not just a thief. She is lucky he only stole money from her because she could end up dead in a ditch. But she got in the car. She went to his place. Okay, so they went to a movie. Well, that's cheap enough. I didn't hear he took her to dinner because, that could be too expensive. You have to buy wine and stuff. Apparently, they just went to the movies and then to his place where they had sex. And he made her breakfast. Oh, wow. He really spent a ton of money on her, didn't he? And so then she leaves her purse with a stranger and goes and takes a shower. Well, she should have taken that purse with her, but she didn't. And so he copied everything. And then she went on home. And then she found she was out all this money. Okay, so wishful thinking. She wanted to like the guy. And the guy was good at letting her think that he was the guy that they could have something. Well, let me say this right here. What kind of relationship can you have with a guy who's halfway across the country or all the way across the country? That ticket was $300. And I'm wondering, how far did she fly to see this guy? Because, generally speaking, long distance relationships are not the thing you want to have. I mean, she's an attractive woman. There's got to be some dudes in her town. She can hang out with them. She can date them. She can actually see them, more than once a year. Why would you want to fly all the way far away to some guy who, you can't hardly ever see in the future? So it's you have to be really deceiving yourself to think that there's some reason that he's so great that you're going to risk everything, your life, your money, and just a weird relationship, from afar makes no sense at all. So what causes women to do this? And I say it's desperation, it's loneliness, it's impatience. And Impatience is very important. Sometimes in life, we have to be patient. We don't want to be patient, but we have to be patient. Maybe it'll take a while before we meet somebody, maybe years even, but we're worth something. We're worth more than somebody's telling us to buy our own darn ticket and fly out there and have sex with them. We're worth more than that. And so if you're going online, here's my rules for going online. First of all, I'm not talking about Facebook because you just might be talking, but if they want to get together, here's something you say. Or like if you're going on Match.com or whatever. If you're going on Tinder, maybe you just want sex. I don't know. But if you want a relationship, let them know. I don't have sex on the first date. I don't even have sex on the second date. I don't have sex till we have a relationship. That will eliminate about 99% of the people that you're contacting. They're gone in a heartbeat because they want sex. They're not interested necessarily in a relationship. They want sex. So if you say you're not going to have sex with them until you actually know them, they're gone. So that's a good thing to put up. And then when you finally find somebody that you'd like to meet, you make sure that you say, hey, let's exchange information about who we are so we're both safe, and show our IDs so we know that we match our IDs. And then we'll meet in a public location. We'll drive separately to a public location. We will meet at that public location and we'll see if we can get to know each other. So at least, if nothing else, you provide yourself with a level of safety, a level of, if you take your time, a psychopathic, manipulative dude who's just out for sex or money, he's not patient. He's got those 10 windows open. And as soon as you say, I don't have sex on the first date, he's like, you're gone. Or if you say, well, I want to share our IDs, you're gone. I want to meet in a public place, you're gone. He isn't going to waste his time. He is not patient. He wants what he wants. And he's not that interested in you. So if you can have patience, find a guy who has patience and is willing to make sure you're safe. Because what kind of guy do you want to be with who isn't concerned about your safety? What kind of human being is that, ladies? You want a man who wants safety for you. That's a fact. And so stop playing this game that they're playing with you, because you're just being a sucker. You are. And women need to hear the hard truth. Stop being impatient, stop being desperate, stop being so lonely you cannot wait. Spend time with your friends, get good hobbies, get great work, be with your family, do things that are worthwhile so that you do not have to rush into a relationship. We see the same thing with women who start up relationships with men in prison. Let me tell you something. Those online dating, they have online dating sites for prisoners. Okay. And some of them are even like they're in there on death row. There's these dating sites for them. And man, I'll tell you something. The ladies and the men on those sites are hotter than anything you'll find on Match.com. I mean, you wouldn't believe how great they are. They look great. And they say all the right things. Like, I love to walk on the beach and I like to have wonderful long talks. And I love to read everything I can get my hands on. All the things you wish a person would do that, like a really great person would do. Well, they love long walks on the beach, but they're never going to take them with you. And say they read, but what are they reading? Law books to get out of prison? I mean, they're lying. They're psychopaths. They lie and lie and lie, but they lie really well. So a lot of women and men too fall for this. They're like, oh my God, that person's so amazing. No, they're not. They're playing you. So, so stop being played. It's okay if you want to go online and find somebody, because sometimes in this world, it is hard to meet people, especially in coronavirus land. We're not meeting as many people as we used to. And maybe we are lonely and we'd like somebody in our life. We'd like a companion. We'd like to get married, whatever it is we want. But be safe. And if you want to be with a quality person, they want you to be safe too. So if they're not willing to be patient, they're not willing to show who they are, show their ID to you, meet you in a safe place, if they don't care about your safety, you don't need to be with them. And don't fall for it, because you will pay the price. You will become a victim, as this woman did. So that's it for this. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a really interesting show. I thought, wow, it's just, why did they not talk about that? They only talked about how bad this guy was. It's, oh, what a horrible guy, what a horrible guy, what a horrible guy. Well, yeah, he is. But guess what? It doesn't do me a lot of good to talk about the horrible guy because he's already horrible. But I can save women's lives and men's lives too, because men do fall for this too. Let me tell you, some men fall for these things and they can get in trouble as well. So, but I'm particularly pointing out women's safety because it happens more to women. And they didn't point out any of that. I'm thinking, what was the point of the show? You're just saying, oh, bad guys are out there. Okay, how do you prevent becoming a victim of a bad guy? Why not talk about the issues? And they kind of just pass by, because you know what happens when you talk about what you need to do to prevent becoming a victim? People accuse you of blaming the victim and you can't win. And the investigation discovery probably didn't want to go there, but I do want to go there because I would like to save your life. So anyway, that's it. Please do like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so in the past. Please share this with any of your friends who are messing around with social media or online and dating. Please share this with them. And I hope to see you in some of my future shows. And so anyway, that's it. Stay safe.